Good evening, boys and girls, lads and lassies, and welcome back to Let's Talk Geeky. And not that I'm knackered, but I'm knackered. I've been. So,
Same.
how has everybody been doing this week?
It's been a busy one. It's been a busy one.
It's
Yeah.
been very busy. It's literally end of year. All the companies are panicking. They need to get the end of year kind of budget sorted and like out the door so that they can reclaim it the next year. But yeah, here I am. I'm still fighting. I'm feeling quite optimistic for this Christmas. It
Good.
looks to be a good one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Christmas. So, for the first time in a wee while, I'm looking forward to Christmas. I wonder why.
I wonder why that could be. Spoiling a certain grandchild, maybe.
Yes, I've just
Oh, that's going to be awesome.
Had to go out and buy more wrapping paper.
You can't wrap the grandchild, PJ.
No, I'm wrapping me, so I can just actually sit in the corner.
As long as the beard is out.
That'll terrify him. I've got him something special. I got him his very own beard.
Wait, what?
I should teach him.
That's great.
So I'm going to wrap that up as just a joke, but I'm assuming my daughter will sort of tell me where to go to with it. So I need to comb it out a wee bit, but yeah, he's on very own beard.
You look like Rasputin.
Looks like Osama.
I have
Very
a question
nice.
for you then, PJ. Since
Yeah.
my camera wasn't working on Discord, were you wearing that last night?
No, just I was wearing.
You should have been.
I was wearing this, but I was wearing this for Jim.
Ah.
I want one of
How
those.
dare you?
Yeah, that and the beard next time, definitely.
Yeah, well, I had my own beard. I didn't need that.
Yeah, but that doesn't look
That
very
is a-
dwarvish. I have to
That
say.
is a cool hat. I want one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a set, believe it or not. That and the beard. When I was playing my dwarf, went in one day and sat in the pub with that on. That was before I had actually my own beard, but yeah, I sort of got one or two funny looks. I don't understand why. Sitting in the pub like that, playing Dungeons and Dragons. I thought that was quite normal.
It seems.
So I'm going to wrap it up for my grandson and say, here, there you go. See if he looks like me. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Christmas, I must admit, and I'm looking forward to the Christmas scary story between Christmas and New Year.
Yeah.
That should be fun.
I'm living the Christmas
Gotta have
scary
those
story right
cards.
now. My refrigerator is on the fritz, and I keep having to move my food around so it doesn't all go bad before Christmas.
I see we
because-
lucky if our fridge stops working, we just put it outside. It's
Yeah.
colder out there than it is
Well,
in the
that's,
house.
that's an advantage. They did that in the 1951 version of the thing. Remember, they broke out the window in the Antarctic so they could let the cold air in instead of just putting the thing outside. It's a flaw. It's a flaw.
Mhm.
So, Colin, you said it was cold.
It's cold.
Just a tad. It's actually warmer up here than it's been in the last couple of days.
Is
It's
it
been
above zero?
It's been raining that much that it's actually improved the weather. The ice is all gone and the temperature's gone up. Pray for rain for Christmas. Keep us warm.
No,
Keep us wet,
it's
but
actually
keep us warm.
it's not too bad here today. I'm without jacket. I'm also without space heater. I think I told you my the space heater I had plugged in last time cooked my power strip. So
Oh no.
I'm out here doing a show, everything's
God.
fine, and then my halo light goes off, and other things shut down. I'm like, what? And I look down. I'm like, no. So it is what it is here in the studios of the Empire. It's always a challenge.
Yes, it's been. At least I've not burnt anything, but it's been busy. I think the least I got to burn anything was actually heating up.
Can you hear that purring? I can hear it.
Are you sure it's not snoring?
Well, cats get away with being able to say, they purr. We snore, they purr.
I said, my wife, I'm purring.
Yeah, I've got a habit. My two, when they're lying sleeping here, they snore, both of them. So they're not in here because obviously we've got visitors, so they're through there actually getting all the attention. So,
Aw, and treats, I'm sure.
So anybody seen the trailer for Violent Night?
Yeah.
I saw it last night.
Yeah. The trailer is a lot more. How would I put it? The trailer's a lot better than the movie.
Oh, did you see the movie?
Yes.
Oh, you watched it? Okay, I still haven't watched it because I'm busy all the
The
time.
movie is good.
The trailer is better.
It starts off as if it's going to be woke as well, because you've got the coloured mother, the white father, who's sort of the younger brother who's quite weak and thingy, but he's a good father, and the two of them are come together because they know that he's very good with the daughter. So there's that part. And then you've got Santa Claus sitting in the bar grumbling about how bad, and it's almost like Santa's not a good, he's more like a bad Santa than anything else, just grumbling. And then it goes on, but in effect all it is an action movie with Santa as your protagonist. It's good in that respect, but it's not a Christmas movie. No matter what the father says, that's not a Christmas movie. That is basically people are getting shot, stabbed in the eye.
But it's by Santa. That makes it a Christmas movie.
Exactly.
Yeah. This one I can actually understand, whereas Die Hard isn't.
Still a Christmas movie.
But I don't know. It's the trailer is a lot more entertaining than the movie. The movie is good. It's not a bad movie, but as a Christmas movie, it's a bad movie. But the trailer is actually more entertaining. But as soon as I saw the trailer was that good, it made me want to go and see it.
Right.
That's
how good the trailer was.
I told everybody. Yes.
Shield Wall Dragon says they're going to see it next week.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like an evening in Newport.
Oh yes, that's a local in joke.
Okay, it sounds like it's a colloquialism.
Yeah, it's think Moss Isley Spaceport. This place can get a little rough.
Got it.
A hive of scum, villainy, and Welshman. Good God, what a whole combination.
Yeah.
I say as someone who wields a bow.
If you like a good violent action movie, just to think about Nobody as Santa.
Have you seen Bullet Train yet, DJ?
No.
I know it's the same writers. I keep telling Father I'm going to watch it so we can talk about it, and I've yet to do so.
Yeah, that's on my list.
I've seen it
next year. That's on my list to begin the next year. But I'm off between Christmas, New Year. Who knows? So, but I definitely.
Is it any good?
Yeah, it is a fun film. It is a fun film.
Yeah, that's what I keep hearing.
You've been an advocate for it. I remember you mentioned it a few times.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So nobody else has seen it, so there's not a lot. It is an ultra violent movie. The wee girl in it is really good. She keeps bringing it back to being a Christmas movie. So she does. She's really good. So she does. So even the bits, I think she looks a wee bit too old to still believe in Santa at the beginning, but she plays it well enough that she seems innocent, a younger kid with the innocence to believe in Santa, but she's old enough to see a couple of not so much swear words, but for kids, swear words. And she says them with understanding.
My daughter, when she was 3, had quite a understanding. So she was speaking of swear words. So I'm gonna segue this into a Santa thing. So she was painting something in the kitchen. Even at the young age of 3, she was a painter. And the Missus of the Empire relayed the story. And from the kitchen, she hears, "I effed it up," except she didn't say effed at 3. And then and Mrs. of the Empire is like, no, you mean you messed it up. And the daughter of the Empire is like, no, I effed it up. And so that's one of the dangers of having a sailor as a father. Sometimes you get these things.
Yes.
Now,
also, some of the dangers of having a builder. My father and my brothers, my nephews, my cousins, we've all worked in building sites. So yes, you can imagine some of the language our kids, because one of my nephew's daughters, youngest, one of her first words was 4 letters.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yes, because her dad at the time, her dad used to every second word. So because he'd worked in building sites since he was 16, he's been working in building sites. So every second word was the F-bomb. Yeah. And then my mum kept shouting at him, your daughter's just been born, you better, and he's going, he would even swear at my mum, even though he didn't realise he was doing it. It was just part of the way he spoke. So he didn't realise my mum would constantly shout at him and sorry, I'm doing, but he kept going on. And as soon as one of his daughter's first words, he realised, and he's now a lot better. He only swears occasionally now.
Only every third word now.
Yeah, but it was literally every second word. See, after his daughter did that, he realised how much he had to temper it.
Oopsie.
And it's a very big oopsie. Because we were all noting ourselves. So we were all, because we had grown up, we'd seen him growing up, swearing. When he was coming working with us in building sites, swearing, thinking it's all cool. And then as he's got older, it's just natural. He says it without even realising he's doing it. Until his daughter did it, and then it was you had to stop speaking for a while just to actually get it in check. It was that bad. But yes, it is funny when young children do it until they're actually maybe about 7 or 8 and still doing it. Then it's
like
not
in public.
Funny.
Then it's not funny.
Yes,
well, the same daughter, she had some words she pronounced oddly. Let's call it that. An alligator, for instance, and don't ask me why, it was an assigator. Don't understand it. Don't know. And pretzel, the word pretzel was F-sol. It was the F word in front of pretzel, and I don't know how that happened. That doesn't even make sense to me. So we were hoping that those were never brought out at a party, which she's like, oh yes, I want an F-sol. It's like, oh no. So the Christmas tie-in though. So my kids still are required to believe in Santa because there's a contract that stipulates as soon as they stop believing in Santa, I get to half the gifts. So no magic gifts, you get half the stuff.
Yeah. Well, my youngest, when she was 8 in January, she said to her 2 older sisters, I don't really believe anymore. And I heard her and I says, why didn't you say last month? She says, just in case. She basically just was hedging her bets because obviously everybody in school was talking about it. So the kids actually talk about things and things stop being believed in. But she didn't want to say it before Christmas just in case. So she kept it to herself, didn't even tell her sisters. And I thought, no, there's a smart 8-year-old. But yeah, I still believe. I'm still waiting for my present under the tree. Because I don't put it there. Somebody puts it there.
Who?
No idea.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I'm actually going to be doing my. I'm going to record it tomorrow. At least I'm going to try to record it tomorrow if no other disaster befalls the the House of the Empire. My annual reading of How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I set up and I do the whole thing with the book, and I try to
Awesome.
channel my inner Grand Moff Tarkin.
Yeah.
Got to get the R's rolling on things, and it's fun. It's a good time. So if anybody has kids that they want me to do a call out for at the end of it, DM me in Twitter or whatever, and I'll throw their name in at the end of the video. It's fun for kids to hear that kind of stuff. For us, we don't care. They love it.
That's awesome.
Do you want to see the ultimate
Oh dear God!
Christmas thing? Right, and this
I'm
is
afraid.
right. No. This is nothing bad.
Oh, okay. Well, no one knows with you, PJ. Could be anything.
It's nothing bad, but I'll put it in the bigger screen just so you can see. Right, come on, how you go up to the bigger screen, right? So I went to the charity shops, as I always do, picking up a couple of DVDs, and I thought, oh, good, I've picked up that one.
Oh, fantastic. That is funny. I wasn't prepared to like that because I love the original cartoon.
From the charity shop, and I opened it.
Oh no, the Grinch stole your movie.
And I thought, it's not so much I was annoyed, but I thought, that is so typical. That is definitely the Grinch. So I got it home and I thought, I think I watched this over Christmas and I opened it, nothing. And I was so disappointed.
Oh my God.
And I thought, the Grinch one.
Wow.
But I just thought it was so funny. Had to be that one.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah. Ironic.
So that was meant to be a pick for me this week. So but that's to me was oh sorry boys, he's back now. Two of them are back now, so obviously
I see that you woke them up with the Grinch. They became
that's what it was.
agitated. I think one of them was worried you're going to tie a horn to his head like Max.
Tie super glue.
If PJ couldn't find a reindeer, he'd make one instead.
I love that story so much, and I love that Boris Karloff read the original cartoon. How freaking awesome is that?
And the guy who did the Tony the Tiger voice when we were kids sang the "You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch."
Mr. Grinch, I know.
See, Tony the Tiger is slightly different over here because he did Frosties. They're great. Tony the Tiger. That was our Tony the Tiger.
Yeah, it's the same Tony the
Same
Tiger.
one.
Yeah,
yep.
Same guy.
They're great.
Yeah,
they're great.
Except
same guy
as well. Are you familiar with the artist Amy Mann? Used to be in a band called Till Tuesday way back when.
You mentioned music, so no.
I know PJ's out. When you're aware of the similar generation, I think. Remember Till Tuesday, the song Voices Carry?
Let me ask. Let me ask the audience here.
Yes,
Dave,
she's bringing.
He's got his headphones on. He can't hear me. Oh, Till Tuesday. Are you familiar with that? The band?
Nah, too obscure. I brought the show to a screeching halt.
Yeah, no.
Okay. You bunch of music heathens. Oh, they're rebelling.
They can hear a noise, and that means food, so they're barking.
So go ahead,
Okay, Shield Ball knows what I'm talking about. At least there's that. Anyway, she does a version of the Grinch song, but nobody knows what I'm talking about, so it doesn't matter. But if you're looking for like a weird one on your Christmas mix, look up Amy Mann singing the Grinch.
Okay. Will do.
Yep.
Everybody's just like, I have no idea what he is talking about. Stupid American.
No.
We never had that in Britain.
We'll take the recommendation. Love it.
Because I try to find weird Christmas music every year, or alternate versions of Christmas stuff. Because we all have the classics. We all know. Remember, I brought out my albums a couple weeks ago, and it was literally all the Christmas classics. But in my digital collection, it's a lot more varied. A lot of the same stuff by a lot more obscure artists. Sting does some very nice Christmas stuff. If you haven't heard any of his Christmas music, he's got a beautiful voice anyway. But his version of like Three Ships I saw 3 ships come sailing in,
Yep.
is beautiful. It actually has a whole album that it's not specifically Christmas, but it is winter music. So
Right.
it ties into the season very well. So I think it's called On a Winter's Night. So
Cool.
I know there's also something to just look it up. You can find it for free probably on one of your streaming services. I'll shut the hell up now. I'm sorry.
Oh, Darren found it. Darren found it.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Okay, well,
That one's on our watch
you-
list.
I hope you like it and
Or
go.
listen list, I should say.
Freaking Roman, God damn it. He's ruined Christmas again.
It's no such thing.
Nope.
Remember I told you before about how sometimes I get a wee bit crowded at my desk. Right? So
Oh.
you see him sitting there. Hold on.
Oh, you got the other one on the top.
He's lying across the desk, and there's my keyboard. He's lying right in front of my keyboard. That's what happens quite a lot. He sits up right across my keyboard, and he sits in my knee. So I've got the two of them sitting here, right across. Comfort.
Where's the treats, Dad?
Unfortunately, it's at the other side. The two of them are facing that way, but the treats are over there. So it's not the treats they're interested in. Oh, I said the wrong word, didn't I? Yeah.
Oh no.
So yeah, I think they just actually want some airtime.
Well, they might be starting up their own channel too.
Yeah. I'm ready, Mr. DeVille.
Oh goodness.
But yeah, I'm actually just looking forward to between Christmas and New Year. I'm finishing next Friday. Obviously, most of us do, but some of us only got a couple of days. But I've taken the 3 days. I've managed to get the 3 days between.
Excellent.
So my wife's off as well. So the two of us are going to have a nice, relaxing time between Christmas and New Year, excluding when I'm streaming.
No, yeah, I'm going to be this next week. I don't know what I'm doing. We're going to be on Monday, but John decided he wanted to do a stream on Monday, but I don't think I'm going to be on next Thursday because the daughter of the Empire is coming in Tuesday night at like 11 o'clock at night. That's okay. It's all right. I'm happy to see her, even if it's late. And then we'll have her for the week, which is exciting because I haven't seen her since summer. Yeah, summer. She was able to come out for a week in the summer. So.
Right. It's always ideal when that happens because I'm looking forward to sometime seeing Margaret, just spending the day. Good thing is, mother-in-law and father-in-law staying, so these two can be looked after, so I don't need to rush back. I can ignore them. Yay! Spend as much time as I want without having to constantly worry about having to get back after a set amount of time. How long have we been out the house? Oh dear, my God, we need to get back. They've been in on their dog for 6 hours. Stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm talking about you. Stop staring at me. I'm talking to. Shh. It's terrible. I used to get some peace and quiet. I don't know what it is. It's every time I talk, they think he's online again. I need to stop talking to myself.
Yeah, I get that, Shield Wall. I do get that. Yeah.
And that's why I do that. We don't start it too early, otherwise we get burned out on it. Yeah. The Chipmunks has been like the one of favorite lately, though. I mean, that's Mrs. of the Empire's favorite. I tolerate it, but she really enjoys it. So we never had that one before. That one's new in the house, so it's fine.
Well, I can honestly say the new Christmas movie I've seen this year is not on my regular Christmas playlist. It's an entertaining movie with a lot of violence, but it's definitely, it has got aspects of a Christmas movie, but the violence in it takes it out of being a Christmas movie. Let's put it this way, it's not something you would, buddy, going to bug off. He's right across the screen. I can't even see what's happening. He's just because you can see the treats over there, so he's literally up, and that's what he's doing. You can see the nose go. You can see the nose go, as in the treats are over there. Why are you not feeding me? See if I give you a treat, will you bug off?
You keep mentioning that word.
Yeah.
Money show, guess so,
It's
PJ.
like- he's like, my plan has finally come to fruition. The man is doing my bidding.
There's yours. New bug off. Yeah. Right, that's some peace and quiet. Keep away. Keep away. Right, hold on. Right, I'll be okay now.
Have you guys have you watched the Night of the Meek this season? The Twilight Zone episode?
No.
What was
Oh.
that one?
That's the one with Art Carney as the
Yes.
drunk Santa.
Yes. We did watch
Oh,
that
it's-
because we went through the whole Twilight Zone series. The set that we picked up. And
that was a
I
picture
love
I
that
put up.
one.
That
That's a
was a
Yeah,
lovely
the Night
one.
of the Meek. My son makes us watch that one every year. He just loves it so much, and it's such a heartwarming tale. And his boss is the little fella. He was on Star Trek original series once. He played. Remember the one where it was that entity that was Jack the Ripper that was jumping
Yes.
from body to
Yeah.
body. The
the
bald
Ah,
man?
yes.
wee bald
Yes,
guy,
I know that guy. Yeah.
Who was also the voice of Piglet, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Yes.
Which is a little that's some range. But so he's in it, and Art Carney, of course, plays the drunk Santa, and it's just the most heartwarming Twilight Zone episode that you'll probably see. No one gets banished to the cornfield or anything. I did see a non-Christmas movie on Monday, though. PJ, I think we were talking about it a little bit yesterday, and I did a thing on it, but I got to see the 1982 Conan the Barbarian on the big screen, and
Yes.
it was glorious.
Yeah.
I got to go to those events more often. I got brought in by part of the Nerdrotic squad here in San Diego. He's like, "Hey, do you want to go see this?" I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then it was far more than I was expecting, just because I saw it on the little screen, like I think most of us have. Because I was too young when it came out. PJ, I think, was in his 40s, but so so I'd never seen it on the big screen before, just on HBO and stuff, and it was fantastic.
Oi! This is actually Cal. It's not real green. I'm only in my 30s. I've actually had a very hard paper run.
It's
So
Scott.
like-
It'll just do that to you, man.
This is like Beard Wars.
That's because they saw mine. They're all copying me.
It's impressive. It is. It's very solid.
Yeah.
Mrs. of the Empire gets mad at me if I grow mine too long. And then she makes me shave it off completely. So now I keep it in this semi-short thing.
What we would call in
A
Scotland
safe
is
zone.
bum fluff.
Actually, I think I get that. I'm just that much above being a hobo as far as my appearance goes. I try to clean it up if we're going out.
Yeah.
So no one just gives me a quarter.
Yeah, I do the same. I have to get this trimmed because if I don't get it
Nope, Jim's come.
Jones bounced. Hi. If I don't trim this up, I look as if I've been dragged through a hedge backwards. Literally, it's a way out, and it's the hair goes with it as well. So even though there's none up there, it's all round. It's like a halo of hair. So I try and keep it trimmed down at least every so often. There's a couple of times when I let it go a wee bit too much, and then I realise, oh dear. Oh dear, yeah. But I'm okay. My wife likes to.
Oh dear, Jim's
her dad had a beard since she was a kid, so beards are actually she's okay
cool
with
with
it.
it.
So
Yeah.
she's cool with it.
I think
so.
if you don't want to grow it long enough to start braiding it, I think that's when it starts getting a little weird.
That's what I'm aiming for. I'm aiming for next year so I can hang Christmas decorations off it. I've even practiced before, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh dear. And that's when we left the air, folks. PJ started getting weird. We knew something bad had happened.
something worse had happened. It could have been worse. Accordingly, did you catch us last night yesterday at some point during the day for the States, and last night early morning for us over here in the UK? We were playing Castles and Crusades on Tabletop Junkies channel.
I haven't had a chance to watch that yet, but I've got that on the watch list. That's
it
I'll
fun?
stuck a link for it in the Discord.
Yeah,
How'd it go?
it was fun. It was fun, and I'm looking forward to the next one. So I was playing a dwarf. Hence the reason why I was wearing the hat yesterday and had the beard dog out
That's
and I had
brilliant.
my axe over my shoulder and everything. So it was fun to get to play a RPG again. So fun. It's just it started at 11 o'clock and went on until just about 1. So wasn't
In the
too
morning?
bad.
Oh
Yes.
my goodness gracious.
Yeah, well, the guys are doing it over like 5 p.m. over there or 4
Oh.
p.m. depending it. But over here, 11 o'clock at
Got it.
night.
That's why we did it on a Friday, because at
Yes.
least we got the Saturday rather than being up during the week. I think you
Exactly.
originally wanted
Because
to do it on Wednesday.
it was either Wednesday night, Tuesday night, or Friday night, and I said, "Oh no, cannot do a late night during the week to get up first thing in the morning." So that's why we
Right.
did it. But it was fun.
I always loved I never played the games, but I always loved the stuff from the games. Like I had the monster, like from D&D, I had the monster manuals, and I had I had dioramas, and I had figures that I painted. I loved all the stuff, but I never played the games.
Yeah, I've
So I
still
was
got a
kind
shelf
of a
with
pseudo
some
nerd.
stuff. I've got a shelf with 1 or 2 of the bigger creatures. I've got a box somewhere with all the small ones, and I've actually got about 3 boxes somewhere with all the small ones.
I've
But
got
I've got a
lots of
shelf
boxes
with all
of
my
lead
big
in.
stuff.
I've got lots of boxes of lead, and I'm not talking about ammunition.
You
Yeah,
just don't eat
Not
them,
boxes of
Colin. They're
plastic.
fine. As long as you're not consuming them, they're okay.
Which
Yes,
I've
they
had
are.
for many years and haven't painted and touched. Well, that's what I have painted, but I haven't done it in years.
Speaking of role-playing games, Warhammer 40K.
yep. I've played Warhammer 40k in the past, but I've not played it for about could be a good
should
8
I be
years.
pedantic and say Warhammer's not a role-playing game?
It's
No.
not, but it's a tabletop
Yeah.
battle game.
Yeah.
Henry Cavill.
I'll say there actually is an RPG version of Warhammer. But yeah, I know what I mean. Yeah. And I was noticing that there's a company saying it's now actually been confirmed. It's not rumours, it's now been confirmed that he's doing it.
Yeah, I've played a lot of Games Workshop stuff. I had I've got Blood Bowl still up my shelf. I had 40k fantasy, Mortheim, Blood Bowl, what was the Underhive? What was it called? Necromunda. And so I played all, and I even used to play bits and pieces. Like I didn't like the Lord of the Rings. The figurines were too small compared to what the Warhammer fantasy figures were. I didn't like that, so that's when I stopped. I started fading away from it because they changed the rules to the new edition for all of them. But I've got the 40k Space Bulk. the space. You got the Tyrants and the Space Marines. Was it Space Hulk?
Space Hulk was Gene Stealers and
Terminators and Space Marines. I've got that somewhere. So I have. It's the box is tattered. It's not out. It's in a box. The box is in a smaller box because it's only the figures and the bits and pieces for it. So, but I've even got a box with still all my Necromunda paneling to build the kit somewhere. But yeah, I've played a lot of it. I saw the Twitter post of a Space Marine. Was it an Inquisitor with Henry Cavill's head on it? And I thought, there's a movie. That would be a good movie.
Well, I'm curious to see how the Warhammer 40K thing goes. It's not going to be a movie. It's going to be an Amazon series one, which we all know that is a definite roll of the dice. They've done great things and they've done very, very bad things. And Miranda, I'm sorry. That's a it's a touching and horrible and sad story at the same time. I mean, it sounds like your friend had just a wonderful imagination. He's able to make up the games on the spot. I'm sorry he passed.
Oh,
A good mind. But one of the, and we talked about this a little bit yesterday, and Colin was there as well. With Warhammer 40K, one of the problems with it, just before it even gets out the gate, is it's a super nerd thing.
Yeah.
That I don't know. You got to really sell this to the normies.
And
so that they
it's
understand
not going to be as popular. They would need to do, to me, they would need to do something like they did with Judge Dredd.
Yeah.
Have it just base like a space, like Space Hulk. So you would just have a unit of Space Marines, aliens.
Yeah, without
and
being
expand it
this
that
big.
way. Yeah,
But it's got
and
one. It has to be
40K
run
Epic.
comparing
Oh
Henry
my
Cavill.
god! I used to play 40K Epic. I love 40K Epic because I also played Battleship Gothic as well from them. But they also had the sailing one. I can't even remember that one. That was very epic scale because the tiny ships and stuff like that. Oh god, I remember all those.
But
I used to have thousands of figures around my house, but they all got sold when I got divorced to actually keep me living.
As someone pointed out on a final stream last in the chat, there are, I think, there may be a surprising number of 40K players out there, and B, the draw won't be 40K. The draw will be Henry Cavill.
Yes,
the same reason that. Well,
but I also think, guys, there's no such thing as something that's going to draw people in just because of their name.
Oh, I think there are. I think there are people. There's people who, being attached to the project, will make a lot more people interested. Whether that will actually translate into people who like the product is another thing entirely.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully, they get good press coming out of it. And we all like the Rings of Power. When I say the words, that was getting bad press from the get-go. Because they did exactly what all these shows do. They focus on diversity, representation versus storyline. We talked about that before. When they really talk about that stuff, you're almost guaranteed a bad story. So if Warhammer is able to bring the story and they talk about that, then maybe we'll be like, when the Terminal List came out. That's what people were talking about, that as a good show. I enjoyed it a lot. I mean, a lot of people I know, like, too dark for PJ, that's fine. But a lot of regular people enjoyed it.
Real people.
But we'll see where it all goes. I still do feel that Henry Cavill got the shaft on this, though, because James Gunn really pulled the rug out of from under his feet on this. Because
the thing is, to me, he would have announced the fact that they were doing a Superman and Henry Cavill out of it at the same point if they didn't want speculation, because they say he's on board to do a Superman movie, which implies Henry Cavill. And it gets all the hype, and then when the hype's dying down, that's when he says Henry Cavill's out.
Well, the thing, what annoyed me on Henry Cavill's behalf about that was when he said he'd been told in October, whenever it was, to announce on his social media that he was coming back as Superman, and that was before a decision had actually been made. So he was done. Oh, here we go. It was done in such a way, it made him look like
a buffoon.
Yes, but I don't know if anyone thought that there was. What does give me some thought is I was watching Az dropped a video earlier on this afternoon about a hit piece on Henry Cavill, on why he left The Witcher. I
saw that. I did see that.
They're saying things like he's difficult to work with this and that. He keeps asking questions. The impression I get is the sort of questions he would have been like, why aren't you doing this closer to the book?
Right.
He's difficult to work with because it's something he's passionate about and he wants it to be the same. So if he's got that level of passion up against Amazon, if he can get Amazon to actually
Yeah.
let him do
Yeah.
it because he can be executive producer as well.
I forgot to actually put the subscriber thing in. Sorry, Jim, that was my fault. As I said, really busy today. I forgot it.
PJ leaves his guard down for a moment, and the bots are back.
Darn you, the bots!
But the thing is, we haven't mentioned either. We haven't mentioned the magic phrase once. No one's wearing T-shirts. No one's mentioning, and Jim's not even online to mention the magic word.
Oh,
so
that word.
that word, yes, you know.
Yeah,
I think
it was certainly merciless just to bring it up. It must have been the sexy look at I've got. That's what it is.
Well, the thing is with a lot of these things is that they're saying that he wants a cinematic Warhammer 40k universe.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's got the reach for that.
I don't think it has initially. That's CG Dread, right? See, after the first Dread movie, there seemed to be a push for a Dread movie with Judge Death, and I thought, no, too soon. You have to have a couple of movies so they can expand, because all you've seen is two judges fighting corrupt judges. Didn't like the storyline with the corrupt judges, but I could understand why they went down that route. The next movie, if they didn't have the money, they could have, pardon me, they could have done what's called a hot dog run. So remember that Las Vegas movie, the one with all the zombies, the group of people. They could have just done it. It's a senior judge, Judge Dredd, taking a load of cadets into the cursed earth, and then you could have the zombies, you could have CGI monsters fighting them, and it's only a cast of 10 people, and they get whittled down, and that's what the hot dog run. So they don't need any big sets. They could film it in the desert, the cursed earth, easy, and they could have done that.
One thing actually that you might find a hopeful thought, PJ, is that I'm not up to speed with. I'm a little bit, but I'm not particularly up to speed with the current stage of the lore of 40k. I mean, might go back a while for it, but Henry Cavill's army is the 40k judges, is the custodians of Baites, which is sort of kind of like the judges. So Judge Dredd 40k.
Judge Dredd 40k. That's what I'm saying. So let's see the first one.
I mean, let's be honest, Judge
Dredd and Judge Anderson. The second one, they can introduce the cadets, which part of it they could have Expedition explaining the judge system by when they're actually sitting around the campfire, the judge is giving them questions, which could expand it a bit. And then the next one, you have the block war or something, so it expands it again. Then you can start bringing in Judge Death, the other gangs and stuff like that. So, but the thing is, it's typical with a lot of them. So you imagine they do this Henry Cavill movie with 40k, right? Even if they just did it Space Hulk wise, the Space Marines, basically just so they actually, you can see what the Space Marines look like, you see what they're fighting, because there could the Gene Stealers or whatever, the Tyranids they could bring in, and then what would they do if that one was sort of successful? Let's say it was successful. They would go to suddenly this big epic battle where they're fighting all these aliens, and people would be going, what's all this mean? Because they saw the first movie, it had a squad of these guys. Now suddenly there's armies of them fighting all these different creatures. That's the sort of thing they do, and they don't think for the cinematic universe you want to build it up gradually. Then you can have a unit spin off.
I would say there is actually a there we go. There is actually a pattern out there how it's been done properly. And it's been done with Tyranids. They just didn't call them Tyranids, they called them Xenomorphs. You do it alien. So the first Space Hulk movie, you do it alien. You don't see the Gene Stealers every 5 minutes. You have a small unit on there. You possibly have civilian characters on there that the Marines come in, and then the second one you expand out to be much more with the you know, people know what the threat is. You expand it out more. You find out more about the threat. You find out more about what else is out there.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's a case of, like Melvin was saying there about how normies don't, civilians don't know.
Yeah.
It's the same idea as 40k. The judge said, I think it worked better. It worked okay because they just introduced the judges.
Yeah,
So Judge
small
Dredd
scale.
and Judge Anderson. So it was that, and that was it. So you got to know what the judges were just based on those two. Then they could have expanded it out from there slightly, but it's the same with if you did an aliens type for 40k, because people have watched Aliens, they know, they understand the premise behind it. Then that's all you need to do is introduce what the characters are, and that's the thing. So you the armor and stuff like that, and the aliens they're fighting. They could just talk about that, and then the next thing is maybe it's a bigger chapter instead of actually just the squad. It could be the chapter actually on a space hulk. They're going to do they're having to invade something, wipe something out because something one of their planets has been overrun, and then they're going there so they can expand it out. Then it's a case of you can have other ones, a different squad in a different movie.
Yeah,
fighting a different.
Well, if this is a series, though, you'll have that. I mean, if it's a series, we know that much about it right now. If it is a series, then they'll have that ability because if they do
a series
like
would work better.
if they do like a 10-episode arc,
that.
then it would be you could do that. You get your first couple episodes of establishing, and then 8 episodes of rolling out the other thing. Otherwise. You're right. They could vomit too much onto it. That's like Batman versus Superman is a really good example of that. That was way too much in way too short of time. And if you're, and we, a lot of us are familiar with the story, the origin material for all that stuff, and it was way out of whack. And it was like, all compressed into a tight aluminum ball instead of being a beautiful roll of aluminum foil.
Yeah. I don't like. Why the hell do they keep having to give us origin stories? There've been that many people. If people don't know who Spider-Man is,
exactly.
people don't know who Batman is, people don't know who Superman is. Like, fair enough. Iron Man, when he came on, he wasn't a popular character in the comics, so he wouldn't have been a popular character anywhere. So yes, you can understand given his origin stuff, but nowadays, why would you give Wonder Woman, Batman, Spider-Man, the Hulk, Superman origin stories?
No, especially
even
again,
the normies. Because normies, there's been movies, TV shows about these around for years,
all their lives at this point.
Yeah, and that's the thing I hate. See, any time I see another movie and it's another, because they don't even give the same origin story because they have to change it because they don't want it different, the same as that one. So suddenly it's Aunt May will get killed and it's Uncle Ben it's actually bringing them up, and fine well that's the way it's going down because it has to be the woman that gives them that speech. With great power comes great responsibility, and then gets shot. So it'll be Aunt May doing it next time.
Part of it, I think, also is that they don't realize, they don't trust audiences. You get a new actor playing the character every few, so you get Andrew Garfield plays you get Nicholas Hammond plays Spider-Man on TV, then you get Andrew Garfield, I think didn't he do the first ones? Yeah, and then you get someone else comes along.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Miranda, no, that proves that you're not a complete fan because that's from Babylon 5 Crusade. So you lose 10 points on your of your geekdom, I'm afraid, for not recognising that one.
What was
Although
that?
it's possible I actually got the quote one. Miranda put in the who are you? What's it? Who are you and what do you want? Quote.
Who are you and what do you want?
Yeah. So I replied with, who do you serve and who do you trust?
Yeah.
Because I just recently been watching Crusade. But no, as I said, the thing is they do that so maybe they think, new audiences are dumb. We'll actually have to give them the origin again. But the thing is, occurs to me, the thing is with 40k, it's something that is, in a way, it's way too big. Because where do you stop? Because if you got an interest from, you do start. Yeah, we said you do an alien type Space Hulk film. You've got the Tyranids and the Gene Stealers and all the rest of it. But you've also got the Orcs out there. You've got the Eldar. You've got Chaos.
Yeah.
You've got the
And even
Traitors.
within Chaos, you've got different.
Yeah, but you've got what they call the Necrons. You've got so many because of the nature of the game. You've got so many varied.
That's what I'm saying. But you think about it. You go in with a movie to establish the franchise, and then you expand it a bit. Then you could suddenly have like phase 4, they call it. You could have another unit.
Oh yeah,
and you're actually dealing with the Necrons, a unit over there dealing with the Eldar. So you could actually have movies about different units.
Well, you could
to bring it all together.
I mean, you could. I mean, if you really wanted to do it, you think about it. You've got 40,000 years of history. You could have a series on the something that's never been done. It's not even done in the game, really. You could do something like the unification of Earth. You could do something about the what is it? I can't remember what he called it. The Great Crusade.
Mm-hmm.
But and then you could go into the Horus Heresy. Then you go on from that. You go to other things here and there. As someone mentioned earlier on, you've got Inquisitor types. It's another one of these things where you can do almost literally any sort of story you want.
The thing is, as well, they don't even need to be original to actually establish this. They do Aliens, that's Space Hulk. They do Starship Troopers, that's Imperial Guard.
Yeah.
You can expand it by just to get stories that people are aware of, because the movie's been out there, and a lot of people have seen it, and then it helps establish it.
I mean, if you worked it properly, you could probably get half a dozen different stories there out of things which either inspired 40k or 40k inspired.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, because the bugs are Tyranids, quite clear. You know, also the Xenomorphs are also similar to Tyranids. Tyranids backwards and forth. Oh, it's extremely confusing. I just haven't been reading a lot of these things recently, so I've got in mind.
I have no background in this. I'm like, he's on a roll. Let him go.
But the thing is, it's another one of these ones which is so big. The potential is,
as long as they don't mess it up.
Yeah, and that,
in the writing room.
And it's not just science fiction. My God. Okay. Sorry. The big bad in there is basically Cthulhu and the old gods. I mean, there's things out there. There's things out there older and bigger than the Chaos Gods. From what I understand, you know, you've got an entire Cthulhu style cosmic horror in there. Good question. The Gene Stealers. I'm not sure what the Gene Stealers. I think when they originally brought the Gene Stealers in, they were they did some very clever things with the lore, because like Doctor Who, the laws changed as they change over. I think they're on something the 9th or 10th edition of the game now. I haven't played it for many years, but the Gene Stealers originally, I think, were supposed to have. They thought they came off from from a moon. I can't remember where it was.
It's been a while, so I couldn't even remember
but then they expanded the lore when they brought the Tyranids in, and the Gene Stealers became the advanced guard of the Tyranid hive mind. So it kind of depends what stage of the game you're at. But as I understand it now, yeah, the gene stealers are the advanced guard coverts of the Tyranid high fleets. So you've got nice, seriously that and your what they call the Chaos Cults in the rest. So you got some serious cosmic horror.
But there's a lot it can expand. That's the point. The fact that you can actually talk about it, and even Roman, who we will all class Roman as a bit geeky because of his background.
Oh, did he start this?
Going, huh?
Wait a second. Didn't Roman actually start us off on this line?
I did, and I regret it now, but I did.
And
flip back. I wish I could.
Seems Alex really busy. Alex, you want a bit of jerky?
Yes, please.
Hey, the old jerky.
It's just a wee bag, don't worry.
It's like the lads woke up behind you when the jerky came out. They're like,
can hear a bag rustling.
Oh,
you've got their own jerky.
The other thing is,
go ahead, Carl.
Oh no, sorry, because I was answering Miranda's. I'm not sure. I think the Slan now in 40k. I think the Slan are now an old race. I think the Slan were actually connected.
Not part of the chaos. You had Nurgle, Slan.
No, that's Slanesh.
Slanesh, that's what it was.
And I think Slanesh is the one. He's the new boy in the block, because I think Slanesh is the one that was created by the Eldar, going extremely pervy.
I was about to say the dogs would love the biltong stuff, but yeah, they probably would love elf jerky as well.
The other thing, of course, that I don't know if it does now, but certainly logically, at least back when I used.
Yeah. And do you know the good thing, Roman? See, to get into it, you don't even need to get into it. You can get figures that size, same size as the figures behind you. And you would sit in there.
They're making them now. Yeah, McFarlane has actually put out a series.
McFarlane's put out 3 because I put pictures up the last time I was in HMV. Believe it or not, had them.
But the other thing,
Max von Priestley likes them, and I sent those his way. I'm like, yeah, they do, but these are out. He's like,
The other thing, of course, is that you can also do a full fantasy series, because somewhere in the galaxy of the 40k universe is a little world called Warhammer World, where you've got.
Is that nowhere Rimmer?
Probably.
That was basically historical world. Sorry, don't worry about that.
But no, in other words, the setting for Warhammer Fantasy is probably somewhere within the Warhammer, within a 40k galaxy, because for starters, it's got things like the Chaos Gods. And
I like the warrior type, because in fantasy I used to play Chaos, and it was Kronos. Was the Chaos Corn, the Chaos Ward, and it didn't have a lot of the mutations in my army, because I wasn't keen on like Nurgle, which is just basically you just put a bit of plasticine down, just draw out bits, and then you could paint it, and it looks like any of the figures that they gave. I just thought the Nurgles and stuff like that just looked as if somebody was just going a bit crazy and had been actually on the magic mushrooms and reading Cthulhu stuff, and they were just so I went for Kron.
All I can say, Sheared Wall, is I've got one complaint about Warhammer 40k. Where are the space Skaven? I want my space rat men.
The thing is, unfortunately, they did actually they mentioned that in the Necromunda, because the Necromunda's the underhive of the 40k world.
Yeah.
So it's Jews and stuff like that, and they allow the Jew gangs to run rampant prior to being
It's block war.
recruited in, and it's to keep down the vermin. And that was why they're allowed to roam free and kill each other for training and to keep down the vermin in the cities. So the Skaven wouldn't have a chance. Yeah, they would. So there you go. But apart from that,
So there you go.
That's why the Skaven don't appear in the 40k and they appear in fantasy.
Is that like the scene in Buckaroo Banzai where he goes, "Why is that watermelon there?" Because I'm gone. My head's gone. I'm fascinated though. I do want to learn more about all that because it definitely sounds just so cool. But I've just never been able to get. I never really got to play or get into a lot of these games as much as I would have loved to. But I feel like now I'm just like old and decrepit. I'm like, could I cope? Could I handle it?
Yep. The good thing is when tabletop battle games are ideal because if you can get Darren to play them as well, you've got your teams, and then you can actually you can build your armies just to defeat the army in front of you, and then obviously Darren's going to be building his army to beat your new army, and they expand and expand and expand.
And,
but the good thing is you can start the battles off with one unit of each and then go from there. And that's the good thing about Warhammer 40k or even fantasy. When it was, you could buy the starter set and you can have a good game from the starter set from day one, and you can change it. You can add one figure and it can change your whole army outlook and stuff like that. It is fun. And I did like the fantasy one better than the 40k, but that's only because I liked knights and everything.
Yeah, so. I've been sort of watching a lot of videos on Magic the Gathering and getting a lot more background and an basic understanding of how it's played, and getting to know the cards, and it's starting to really take off in my mind. But I was also looking on YouTube at like solitaire type play, and I noticed that a lot of people have devised their own solitaire with MTG, which is like it's a little hit and miss, but it's like, I think to test out a deck, it sounds like a lot of people came up with ideas, to sort of test out their decks.
Yeah.
And that, like, one solitaire video I was watching was saying, it's better with an heavily offensive deck to play from a solitaire point of view. But I'm still getting my head around it all. I'm still kind of I'm picking up bits and pieces, but I feel a lot more immersed in the learning side of it now than I was originally, because it's starting to make more sense slowly.
Yeah. See, one of my friends, what he does is he's got a number of decks, and anytime he wants to create a new deck and test it, he just plays it against 3 of his other decks. So he just goes round the thingy and playing each of the decks.
Just spin it, just like
plays each of them just to see how this new deck. And the object to the other 3 is not taking out each other, taking out that one. And so he goes very aggressive against these new deck to see how it can handle. So, and yes, when you're playing it against yourself and you know all the hands, it's less difficult. But if he plays it in a particular way, so he doesn't matter if he knows what's in everybody's hand, he deliberately tries to take that one out as quickly as possible from the 3. And if it can hold up to 3 for a few turns, then it's doing quite well.
Okay.
So it's things like that you can work out. And the good thing is, when there's the 2 of you, you can play very aggressive against each other to test a new deck by a deck you've already got and you know it works.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
there's a lot of
definitely.
different ways of doing it, and I just miss playing Magic as much. I've got Magic Arena, and I play the free version. I don't buy anything, but it's just not the same fun. Just not as much fun. Because
Yeah.
if a computer beats you, you go, eh. If you beat a computer, you go, eh.
Wrong one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I never
Hey.
got. I'll tell you what I really did like was when they came out was I never got into the card type games, but I did like, and I still got the Games Workshop, even before Games Workshop released them, back when Hasbro used to release them, like Space Hulk, Hero Quest,
yeah.
and all those games where you could run a game in an hour, and you could also make your own maps. And so I thought they were really, really good. But I think they read it. Hero Quest. No,
Hero Quest
Warhammer
is a good
Quest.
board game.
Yeah,
You
Warhammer
had
Quest.
Warhammer
I think
Quest.
they
Yes.
they recently released an updated version, and it looks fantastic. I mean, most of them are the same. Yep, it's exactly, man. But wait, I mean, I'm old enough to remember back when Games Workshop was actually a gamer's shop, not just a Citadel Miniatures outlet.
Yeah,
I mean,
because you
back
used to go in and play the games. They would have
Yeah.
gaming tables.
Well,
I
yeah,
would go in quite regular. I'd go in every week and
Hmm.
just play the different whatever games were on for that week. That's
I
what I
mean-
said. I used to have 40k armies. I had fantasy armies. I had Blood Bowl. I had Necromunda. I had more. Basically, whatever they were playing that week, I would go in and play. And
I'm not sure how much they ever played stuff other than their own games, but they produced. I mean, I know back in the year you look at the double-digit editions of White Dwarf when it first came out.
I
You
used to
will-
love White Dwarf. I used to
You-
have piles of White Dwarf, but then they started changing the way it was laid out to just buy these figures, no problem, just buy these figures. So,
Yeah.
battle
it-
reports disappeared, extra rules disappeared, new games you could play with the figures you had disappeared.
I mean, I remember I've got some on the shelf near me, and I think I've got PDFs of about the first 100, but a lot of them, you'd go in there and you'd get a White Dwarf and for Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You'd
you
find the
basically all you
same
saw,
scenario.
all you heard there,
Yeah.
Colin, was White Dwarf, space, nothing, and Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
So that's what I saw Alex. He just finished or nearly finished his building there. Yeah, you'd get a scenario, and you'd get the scenario in Dungeons and Dragons. You get the same scenario written to be played under Rune Quest. You get something, you get Traveller, you'd get Superhero, you'd get any number of RPG type games, and they would actually do rule sets for them and the rest of it in Games Workshop.
Yeah. Actually, I remember some of them, they would say, basically, you had your fantasy armies, and they would say, right, so take one figure from that, figure from that, figure from that, figure from that, and you've now got a squad of a knight and his squires, and then you're a fight, and then they would basically lay out skirmish campaigns that you could fight against mobs of beastmen, Skaven, and stuff like that. They would just so you could actually just sit and play a single game against yourself with having 7 or 8 figures and playing a skirmish battle. So you didn't need to buy extra figures, you just actually played it with what you had. And they used to do that. So is that you all finished there, Alec?
Yes, it is.
Excellent.
And Roman, what is Dark Tower?
So Dark Tower is a game that came out in the I guess I should say mid 80s. It was a round board, and there were 4 different positions on the board. You could be this color army, this color army, this color army. And in the center of the board was an electronic tower that had a a screen that faced you, and you would go through and you would I don't remember if there was a dice with it or not, but you would press a certain button on the tower depending on what your move was supposed to be, and it would go through, it would spin around, and on the wheel within the tower it had the different scenarios that could happen for you. Find gold, oh shit, it's a dragon attack, find food, your men die, all that kind of stuff. But it was a board game, not a computer game, and it was basically a similar to a Dungeons and Dragons idea, but it was the computer within the device that drove the scenario.
Was
it was great.
Any relation to the Stephen King novel, or is it merely a coincidence of name?
That is a total coincidence of name, and Stephen King is a tool.
Oh no! I just wanted to. I know the
no. It's complete different. Yeah, total different. They're very separate things.
You saying that? Does anybody remember the original Talisman?
Yes.
No. Yeah.
Do you mean the novel?
No, I mean the board game with the bloody great dragon in the middle.
Oh, I would have loved that. No. See, I missed all these great games.
It's an old game. It was an old board game, and what you get the basic board, and then you get expansion packs which will go around the edges.
Wow.
And I'm sure there's an online version of it, because I'm pretty certain, like a lot of things, they brought that back out again a few years ago as well, and it's the same idea. The only problem is that, as a lot of people have said recently, or I've seen comments about recently, Citadel Miniatures these days, Games Workshop, whatever they call themselves, of course they're a business. We understand they're a business, and we appreciate that they're in the business to make money. But that seems these days to be all they do. I mean, you could tell, for example, when Warhammer Quest came out, box that came out, great little idea, and then you'd start getting every month or every couple of months, you get a new figure for it, a new type of figure for it, and you get some of the rules will be in White Dwarf and the painted thing White Dwarf, and you'll have to spend £5 or £6. This was 20-30 years ago for the lead figure, which you could then use and so on. So even then, you got the basic, and you could see them starting to move into the monetized
Warhammer Games Workshop. I've got one of their Judge Dredd games. They used to even do Judge Dredd figures.
Yeah.
For it, they did Block Mania. They did the RPG itself. They did a load of stuff. Games Workshop, and the figures. Yes, the figures weren't cheap. Even I would say 20, 30 years ago, even the figures were £2-3, and considering you needed about 10 or 15 of them to make a decent unit, 30 years ago, £30 was quite a lot of money. It's probably in par of what you're paying just now. But the difference was, as Colin was saying, you would get the rules for these new figures they brought out printed in the same magazine that you'd buy every month anyway, which was fairly inexpensive. But now they've stopped doing that. When they bring out new figures, you have to buy the rules for those figures. So they update the rule book, and you have to buy the expansions to do the rules. And that's where they fail, I think, is because what they're doing is saying, come in and play as long as you've got money.
Yes, exactly.
Come in and play. And if you've got money, we'll sell you this stuff. It's just a case of, but if you buy the basics, we'll show you how to play it. We'll encourage it, and we'll try and get you to expand your army, but we'll not actually say, oh, you'll need this, or you'll need this, or you also need this, you'll need this. And that's the points I hate. Them encouraging you to spend your money, don't have issues with. That's good sales. But them actually sort of tricking you into spending your money, which is like microtransactions in your video games. If I buy a video game, I want to play it. I don't want to actually have to now suddenly pay more money to play it. What the hell's the point of me buying a video game if I have to pay money every time to play the game?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, exactly. They do that. I mean,
Games Workshop. Oh, it's obviously still on my desk. I'm still playing it. Blood Bowl.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm still playing it. It's actually still on my machine, so I've been playing that over the last couple of months.
That's about the one thing. That's the closest thing that ever got me interested into sports because I loved some of the Skaven figures for that. The thing is, I'm sure that's one reason why they regularly update the story and why they're on 9th or 10th edition, because they can then bring out there's an entire new thing called
Is it Age of Sigma?
No, Age of Sigma. I think is they did a game. They did a I believe they brought the end times to the fantasy world, and the Age of Sigma is the sequel to that. Which I know a lot of people. I've seen a lot of people fans of the old one aren't particular fans of Age of Sigma, but they've done that. They've done it, and I'm sure a lot of it is business model. Let's make a change that means people have got to buy new ones. They've done that. They've redesigned the Marines so that all the Space Marines now are taller, bigger, different designs. So you can't very easily run. You can't very easily play.
Well, that's true. They did the same with
this thing.
Yeah, it was the same as that's why when they got the Lord of the Rings figures, they were slightly smaller, so you couldn't use your normal figures within the Lord of the Rings. They had, and when they got Lord of the Rings, the owners of Lord of the Rings gave them the permission to do the figures, the game, and all that, on the understanding they were to actively discourage people from using other figures to represent their.
Oh right, no.
So you if you wanted to play Lord of the Rings, you couldn't bring your army in and say, like, these represent the Asgul. They would say, no, you have to have Lord of the Rings figures, and it was all to do with contracts. They couldn't in the shop actively encourage it. They had to actively discourage it and say it is not allowed. You have to purchase the figure that it's representing. You could buy Lord of the Rings bowmen and say, right, these bowmen are the orcs, and they would say fine because you've purchased the figures from that set to use in it. But you couldn't use figures from other sets, even if they were Games Workshop sets. You weren't allowed to.
You couldn't have Bretonians as a warrior or anything. Yeah,
exactly. So that's what they actively discouraged it, and then the figures were slightly different as well, so they were slightly smaller. But
I mean, I think Miranda already mentioned. I was like, D&D apparently Wizards of the Coast have done something similar. They've now there's something called One D&D, I think.
Yeah, because I don't know because D&D is basically I like D&D, but Wizards of the Coast are nuts because what they've done in Dungeons and Dragons, if you play an orc, that's racist because they think black people are orcs or orcs are black people. So they've said they've identified it as racist, and then they're blaming all of us because they think that. But they're also in Magic. They've said they're actively going to stop printing white knight cards and stuff like that.
What?
Well,
So if you've got a knight, an angel, or whatever, and it's white, the card is going to be banned.
Wizards of the Coast is the prime example why you need to gatekeep because you get people coming, to something like that. I mean, is it a 5th edition of AD&D where they're saying they're not even going to use the word race anymore? When you get something like a game like D&D, you got your basic rules for it, and you can have your house rules for it, and you can say whatever setting you want. But you get people come and say, "Well, hold a minute, but have you thought that you can't do? You can't have this."
Yeah.
And then, well, yes, you can do it within the rules if you really want, but then they impose. The problem is, it's not that; it's then imposed on everybody else. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, I think.
That game was the shit. I love that game so much.
See, I've never seen that game, but it looks so cool.
I don't know. I mean, I've seen
So in the middle there, that the dark area, that's where the screen lights up, and there's a wheel inside that spins around, and that little keypad is whatever your move is supposed to be next. And on the bottom of those cards, you see you're supposed to be acquiring keys, and that unlocks like a next level thing for you to do other stuff within the game. And that's like your checkoff list of how many troops and food and all that stuff that you have. It's an analog version of a computer game, basically, before they existed. And it was a lot of fun, and it took a minute to play too. It was not a fast game. You were sticking around and playing that thing for probably a good 2 hours if you were getting in there. So it was great. I loved it so much.
And that's what games were meant to do. They weren't meant to be a 5-minute game. You wanted a game that you would sit down and play for a couple of hours.
Yeah, it's a cerebral exercise. It's something.
Yeah, me and my old man would sit and play this quite often. He worked when he was in the Navy. He worked nights, so before he would go to work, we'd sit down and we'd squeeze a game of this in before he'd have to take off. So a lot of fond memories of this
lovely.
game.
Yeah,
Lovely.
it looks like something I wish I had seen or played.
I've got one somewhere. It's a second-hand version, so not everything was there, but there was one where along similar lines where you play and you've actually got a CD and you play the CD going in the CD. Yes, it's CD, not a DVD. It's that old. And some of it you got background music, but also you've got things, comics, and you play a certain track when you get to a certain point in the game. So it's atmospheric and it's actually got. It's sort of actually got instructions and the like in the ball game, in on the DVD, on the CD, things like that, which sort of interactive ones.
Almost like the Oregon Trail, except with monsters and shit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
You still die of dysentery, but
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, do you know what I saw when I was in the charity shop today? A covered wagon, a build your own. It was basically just all the bits you needed to build your own covered wagon. I was so tempted to pick it up, but I decided at the last minute, where could I put it?
Where are you going to put it? Yeah.
So it was basically, I liked the idea. The unfortunate thing, if it had a 2 horses figures sitting there that I could have put with it, I might have got it. But it was just a covered wagon. You had to build yourself. So I thought, oh, bummer. I just didn't have a space to put it.
I know. At the beginning of next year, I'm buying a new
house
display area.
Fridge.
Put on the other side.
Yeah.
I'm waiting on the Russians for the part for the fridge, and I'm not even joking when I say that. Every refrigerator repairman in San Diego is a Russian. I don't know why, but fine. So next year, next to the big display behind me, I'm going to have a vertical display as well. That's going to be housing a lot more of my other stuff that you don't see because it's off camera because I have too much stuff. So,
Excellent.
I don't know why. Oh, space. That's why I brought that up because we're talking about space. Space is a premium out here.
Yeah, I can imagine. We're also looking at maybe downsizing.
Oh no!
What? I got boxes on the floor behind me, under this thing, behind this thing. I've actually stopped buying action figures right now just because there are a bunch of them out there I want. It's just like I have nowhere to put them.
Yeah.
So I buy records instead because I have a place to put those.
Talisman.
Okay.
I remember seeing that game, but I don't think I've ever played it. I remember the big box.
Familiar with this.
Never saw any of the expansions, but I remember the big box, but I don't know if I've ever played it.
Well, I think the one top right, I think is probably the original. There are different versions of it. Because the one at the bottom there, I mean, if you cover the word talisman, you probably think you were playing Hero Quest. That's so close to the Hero Quest box cover, isn't it?
Yeah, it is very, very like it.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I mean, it may because it looks that does look. I mean, that's 4th edition, I think.
It's just the whole layout of it with the hero at the front and centre, whereas Hero Quest, you've got the barbarian type front and
Yeah.
centre. Similar idea. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to bounce it on to the next
Pick of the week.
only because I said, remember, 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Benji, stop licking your lips. It actually sounds as if it's me doing it, and Neil, I think I'm sitting there going,
It's the elf jerky.
that's exactly what it'll be. He's just sitting staring me in the face going, But, so, anybody got any picks?
We haven't seen the build yet.
Okay.
Alex's build.
Right, okay, I'm
Right.
going to bounce the build up. Hold
I'm
on,
keen.
Alex. Right, there you go.
I'd like to thank Wendy and Darren for this great present.
Yay.
I'm not a fan of the monster truck version, but all I can say is that I've tried this out. If you put it on the floor and roll it backwards, it shoots
Oh,
off.
cool.
Almost
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, I like those because they have two builds. They have like the monster truck is a great. That's a good American
America.
staple. American
Uh-huh. No,
monster
no,
trucks, man. But
Uh-huh.
that thing is cool.
Shame I don't have a dirt hill around my way. Otherwise, I could have like rolled it backwards and send it up.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got to say thank you very much.
I do need
And
You're very welcome.
Wendy,
Yeah,
Wendy and Darren, expect your present in the new year because of the
no worries at all. Please, it just
Now, had I actually given you one with, if you're probably not allowed to have a Confederate flag on it, you could roll it back and call it the General Lee.
oh,
If you could
yeah.
get it to jump over a hill.
Yeah.
Yes, we are big Dukes of Hazzard fans here. So
Yes. Dukes of Hazzard. are
still have to
great.
get a General Lee model though. Haven't got one yet.
Same here, and see, try to get them. They're like gold dust.
Oh,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
Well,
And you can get a couple of them, but they're all in such tattered condition that they're basically just the figure that you have to put the flag back on yourself.
Well,
That's
yes.
why you can sell them.
Oh, yeah. That don't get me started on that.
Yeah, that's why you can sell them on eBay because they're so tattered.
Not
you
impressed
have
with
to
that. That was dumb.
repaint them and redo
That
them.
show was all about like being nice to people and
yeah.
just
Yeah.
Well,
it was just such an awesome show and people don't get it. It's like it's not about the
Roscoe
goddamn flag.
Coltrane.
I've got to say,
Oh, okay. Well, we have a cat named Roscoe after his name is Roscoe P. Catbrain.
mm,
But I loved the Dukes of Hazzard. I thought it was just one of those cool programs at the time. It
Oh,
was
it was
fun.
great.
It had a Daisy Duke, and it had Daisy Duke.
Yeah.
And, it had Daisy Duke.
I mean, I'm interested in the Jesse must have had at least 3, if not 5 kids. Because
they kept replacing certain.
because when Tom Woppert and John Snyder buggered off, you got the other 2 came in.
But
They
were cousins.
No, they were cousins, but Bo and Luke were cousins. You got Bo. You'd always got 3 cousins there. You got Daisy, and each of the 2 boys, and the 2 boys, they were all cousins, so none of them had the same parents. So you've got at least 3 sets of parents there. And if
It's
the replacements of Bo,
it's redneck country, man.
yeah, right. I was trying to avoid that, but I mean, if Bo and Luke. I genuinely can't remember the name. So only a year, I think, weren't they? But if the guys that replaced Bo and Luke were Bo and Luke's brothers, then that's 3. Otherwise, you've got 4, if not 5. So
Yeah, I don't think they.
it was Uncle. So Uncle Jesse must have had. No, because if he was Uncle Jesse, there must have been 4 because he was. So there must have been at least 4. He must have had at least 3 siblings. Because his siblings would have been the Duke's parents. Oh, my head hurts.
if
Yeah.
Uncle Jesse
Yeah, don't
has
go there.
5 children, and those children have 6 children each, and those children have
Those were the math problems that basically broke my brain.
yeah,
I would just like shut down. I would read one of those problems, and all the things that would be going on in my head were like green 11. What? I hated those problems.
Yes.
It's like the ones. I mean,
If a train leaves San
Oh.
Francisco at 4 o'clock, traveling at 120 miles per hour, and another train leaving San Francisco at the same time and traveling at 80 miles an hour, how long would it take for the two of them to crash?
Oh God.
Well, they're on different bloody lines. Why would they
about 30
crash?
seconds.
They've got plenty of time to actually work that out. Why would they crash?
I wish I'd had the courage at the time, just to write on my answer sheet, I don't care.
Yeah.
Ask the conductor.
Yeah. How am I supposed to know that?
You are the conductor. I remember when I remember when it sort of came in. When the idea was to make the idea behind some of it was to make maths more relevant, rather than just doing basic maths and counting maths, to actually make it mean something. Because
instead of a plus c equals the square root of I, and you're sitting there thinking, when would I ever want to know what a plus c equals? And so they tried to do it, make it more realistic, and you're sitting there thinking, I would just check a timetable. So why would I need to calculate it?
I hope we don't get banned for this, but I've got to share a Billy Connolly joke.
Careful
We
now.
will get
Careful. PJ, you're walking a thin rope at the moment, aren't you?
I'm walking a tight rope.
9 minutes.
It's how long is it?
Right.
Keep pausing it every so often.
Okay.
It's only
Here we
pause
go.
it halfway through. If this is a fart in a spacesuit, you're in trouble.
All right, here we go.
I hope I can get away with this. It's a beauty. I said, how's the wife? He said, oh, she's dead. I said, what? He says, dead. Do it again. Dead. I murdered her.
Pause it.
If you want.
Right.
Right. Roman, do you want it translated? That's Billy Connolly, a Scottish Canadian.
I
No,
know
that's Michael
Billy
Parkinson.
The signalman and his wife is dead. She's
Okay.
dead. Deep.
I said, show me. So are we up to his tenement building through the close? That's the entrance to the tenement. Sure enough, there's a big mound of earth. There's a bum sticking out of it. He says, is that her? He says, aye. He says, what'd you leave a bum sticking out for?
He says, I need somebody to park my bike.
It's
You
the
could have
wrong.
told me that was a joke. I would have been able to tell you that joke. That's an old joke up here.
It's the wrong one I was looking for.
So, see, you have to actually translate it for Roman.
I need subtitles.
The good thing being that means you probably get it past the algorithm, because the algorithm might.
That's true.
Algorithm might
I know what the hell he's talking.
Right, before we do that, I'm going to go into my pick. I also got a wee something set up.
What the dickens?
Oh,
what
yes.
on earth that is.
Oh, my God.
That's okay. Phew.
Well, fix his wing, yeah.
I was
There
very
he is.
concerned.
He's got an authentic Welsh dragon.
An authentic Welsh dragon. Woo! At the dog
Oh, look at
park,
look at him.
He's
Look at
thinking, that's definitely. He's thinking that's mine. That's definitely mine.
Yeah, is that mine?
I'm trying to think that's
I got an authentic Welsh dragon that I have to keep away from the dogs.
I was
Leave
going to
them.
say, yeah, that's getting some interest. Yeah,
the other one is it a white dragon that the red dragon's fighting?
correct.
It's in the early Merlin legend. Oh, it's in. I don't know if it comes from Mabinogian, but I'm aware of it from one of the early childhood of Merlin, that they're going to sacrifice him or something. He works out what's happening or something. I think it's a red dragon and a white dragon.
See, I've got a red dragon and a Yorkie dragon.
Need to get them little dragon outfits
Oh my goodness, that'd be
next
hilarious.
Halloween.
Yeah, so I got that. Thank you very much. Benji.
Okay.
The only problem is I don't know red dragons. I know blue dragons, green dragons, brown dragons, and gold dragons.
We've got lots of red dragons around here. This is
But then that's because I associate dragons with Pern, not whales.
correct. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, I shared the joke on Twitter through the Twitter Messenger feed because I couldn't find it properly.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's probably safer at the moment. I think
That's what I'm doing because it's over it's about 2 minutes long.
I can't see it's no
Oh,
problem.
look at this.
Oh, I like that name, Darren.
What a ham.
What did I miss?
He's sitting right in front of you. He's
Like,
just
showing
hamming
us
it
all
up.
footage of you.
Yeah.
He was hamming it up there.
You mean Ivor Dragon?
Here for the food.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, bless him.
Say hello. Hello.
Mm.
Right. What are you after?
Sausages.
Sausages.
Sausages. Sausages.
Who's your favourite person in the whole wide world? Who?
Oh. You trained him well, PJ.
Yeah.
How
He
you
thinks
feeling?
he's getting free. Okay, right, Benj. Benj, leave me alone.
I haven't trained him that well.
Well, basically, he's actually been licking the makeup off. Right, okay. Seems you actually look good, made me look good here. Right. Yeah, I give him a treat every time they actually, you know what I mean? So the Billy Connolly stuff, no, I know he had hair, I didn't.
That's
and
fine.
when he had, when I had hair, I didn't have a beard, so it was basically, yeah, so we could tell. Billy Connolly and Jimmy Hill. Billy Connolly's joke was a guy came up on stage one night because he didn't like the jokes he was telling, so he punched him, but he punched him and it went like that across his beard. And he says, my beard stops like that. Look, my hairs go like that. I'm not like Jimmy Hill. Jimmy Hill was a presenter, and he had his chin right. His beard just covered his face.
Right,
so he basically had a
pointy chin.
So he basically thought it was Jimmy Hill and missed. But Billy Connolly, if you want to look at some good Billy Connolly ones, look at Big Banana Feet.
Yep.
That's his whole album, and that was the early stuff, and that's really good. His later stuff, no so good. I think once he became a big star, his jokes were sort of lost. But
That's
I mean, because I knew him originally. I think I saw some of his later stand-up, and then I saw him in Boondock Saints, of course.
Yes, Boondock
and then
Saints,
sadly
and
in Boondock Saints 2, which was not so good.
Mr. Brown.
Yeah. Don't forget.
Swearing. It's no good because the kids take it to school and everyone knows you did it. So
he was also in The Man Who Sued God.
Yep. So you come up with your own language, like get you for your bassa.
Aye.
Yes,
well,
I really know.
See, the thing is, get for could mean anything. It could mean go away. So get for Yabasa could be naughty boy. So that was one of his routines was you could make up words. It sound bad. Like they do it in every sci-fi program, Smeg.
Yep.
They make them sound worse than it's just a word. You can make that word mean anything itself.
And apart from the beard, I have one other thing in common with Billy Connolly. We were both weekend soldiers.
Aye, but you can get thousands and thousands of Smarties for £25.
I remember that one as well. Yes, the join the army adverts.
Yes, you need to actually his early stuff, Roman. If you're going to listen to Billy Connolly, look for his early stuff, Big Banana Feet, stuff like that.
Especially the crucifixion.
The crucifixion. The crucifixion, instead of actually in the original title of the Bible, it wasn't in Galilee, it was in Gala Shields. They couldn't find three wise men and a virgin. Gala Shields is an area in Glasgow.
The reason I think he could get a lot of people let him get what I get away with the army recruiting adverts was because he was in 10 Power. He was a territorial army power, and he's done a great thing called Weekend Soldiers about it.
He was in the Terries.
Yeah, it was in the tennis for really well now, and I must say it isn't all that bad.
Yeah.
For some reason, my Scottish accent is turning Pakistani.
I noticed that, but most people. But
Oh,
Roland,
yeah.
right,
It's
the
somebody else.
territorials, the Terries or the territorial army are basically army reserve.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what the
Kind of our
territorials are.
version of the National Guard. Not the same, but similar in relation to
Yeah.
the
So basically, they're called weekend soldiers. That's
No,
what
because
you
we've got the National Guard and we have reserves, which are very different things.
Well,
well, basically, the territorials they go on training 3 weekends a year.
Yeah, that
and
sounds like
stuff
our
that.
reserves.
Yeah.
So it's that type of thing. So
As active duty guys, we don't like the reservists because they come in a couple times a year and they just screw everything up. It's a nightmare.
it's
so good they're here.
it has changed quite a lot since I was in that back in my day, you'd got the I think the medics, possibly there were 2 or 3 corps where the
archers, the shields, and the swords.
Yeah, basically, where the territorial army did work alongside the regulars. I say the medics, for example, TA medics was trained and they actually worked in alongside the regulars on a stint. Most of the territorials didn't necessarily, as you said, we exercised the rest of it. Now you get a lot more territorials actually get on active service and the like. So it's changed. But we also got, I mean, several of my mates were ex-regular. So you got from the ex-regulars, they got and they were still on the reserve because they were ex-army, but they joined the TA to keep up with some of the skills.
And also, when you're in the TA, you got time off to go and do the training at the work's expense. So
yes,
a lot of our guys, when they get out, will go reserve because they can still. I mean, they still advance and stuff, but it's just they do real life, regular life stuff outside of that. And then there's just old codgers like me who stuck around for the entire time.
Yeah.
Speaking about territorials, do you remember the character Mike Watt played by Nick Frost in the TV show Spaced?
Yes.
Don't think I ever saw that.
Yes.
He wanted to join the British Army.
Simon Pegg.
But he was always talking about with combat gear on.
I know. But he got thrown out of the TAs because he stole a chieftain tank and tried to invade Paris.
What was there was a Reggie Perrin. No, it wasn't Reggie Perrin. I think it was Reggie Perrin. Was it I can't remember if Leonard Russell was in it, but you know the Jeffrey Palmer.
Yeah.
Was that? And it was the father, the husband in Butterflies. He did something where there was a comedy where he was. I can't remember if he was a TA or he was one of these really comic, always getting ready for the invasion. I can't remember what it was called, but it was.
Oh, Kelly's bit coming in, but the connection's not coming through her properly.
Oh no!
Right.
Oh.
Right. So I'm going to show you my pick because we are. It's not as if I need to at 10 o'clock on the button, but round about 10 I need to be leaving. So I only got a couple other ones. I got that one. You remember that him? Anybody remember him?
Oh, I love Reginald D. Hunter. Yeah, he's great.
Aye, in the midst of crackers.
Have you heard of him, Roman?
No, I'm not.
Oh, he's a great comedian. He's worth looking up.
Yeah, he takes what people class as black comedy, and he actually puts it to everybody, and actually just to make them laugh and realize it's not black comedy, it's comedy.
Yeah, he's a legend. He's so good.
He's such a great comedian. So as soon as that's the first time I managed to pick one up at a charity shop. I see things like Rowan Atkinson. Sorry, no Rowan Atkinson. Mr. Bean. I also see a lot of Michael Caine, Mike, and stuff like that. loads of them, and they're always coming up. But very rarely I get a good stand-up. And Reginald D. Hunter is just. I picked him up.
He's excellent.
I also picked up a Johnny Depp one.
Ooh,
Oh,
That's
nice.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Enemy. I've not seen
Yep,
this
that's
one.
John
I'm looking
Dill.
forward to that one.
Oh, okay.
Public Enemies. I've not seen that one, so looking forward to it. But it was right next to another sort of gangsterish one. Remember that one?
Oh, I like that movie. Very
I-
underrated.
I
cool-
think that is a lot more fun.
Never seen that one.
Oh, it's basically he's John Malkovich in that one.
I
Oh,
think
really?
so. I haven't seen it in a long time, but it's almost like a gangster cast set in a western. Is what it is. What it is. The
It's
vibe.
basically you're talking about. It's on the border, just over the border, and they basically the 20s. He goes over and he's negotiating between two gangs. Bruce Willis, last man standing.
Cool.
I also picked up.
Oh,
I
what's in the
freaking
Oh,
box?
yes.
love this film.
What's in the box?
Don't do it. Don't do
Don't
it.
open the box. Yeah.
Yeah, I picked up another one, a Disney classic, Brother Bear.
Oh, I'm
I
not
don't know
familiar
these
with that
bears.
one.
That one is. I've seen it once. The one thing I remember is I think it's Rick Moranis is one of the characters in it.
Is he really? Oh, I love
he,
Rick
he
Moranis.
does the voice of one of the characters. So looking forward to watching that. And the last one,
Oh, nice.
That's
Oh,
good.
Wolverine
nice.
and the X-Men Volume 4. So it's a lot more Wolverine stories. So it is. So these, I also checked them all, make sure they're actually.
After the Grinch
Grinch
incident.
didn't steal
Yeah,
anymore.
the Grinch was the other one that it gave me a Grinchy Christmas. You get the Grinch, you go, yes, open it, and there's nothing. You think, "Bugger." The Grinch got me.
That's a bit not. Well, somebody must have pinched it out of there because they're
Yes, that's
supposed to
exactly
check
what's
that
happened.
before they put those on the shelf.
Normally I check, they do, and then they usually check them as you're buying them, but I just put them down in the room went to check them. I says, it's okay, there's only 3 or 4, so.
Oh, it'll be
And
fine.
it was
Oh,
my own
because-
fault because I normally check them as well, but I didn't because I was rushing around. So I was literally in and out, and I didn't have the time for it to check them. I didn't time for me to check them. And you back up. Look, stop trying to type your name.
What you mean is you got there and you channeled the critical drink and you went, nah, it'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
Yeah,
It'll be
exactly.
fine. Aye. Me, I'm no critical and I'm not a drinker. Well, I'm a drunk, but I'm not a drinker. Get it injected in. But that's a different story. Right. So there's Kelly there. Sorry, Kelly. We saw you having the problem with the
Is she
device.
here?
So I didn't know.
I'm here finally.
Yeah. She was standing in the foyer going,
I know, waving my hands.
sorry, I got sort of distracted. Like, go to your lip. Aye. But hello.
I love how his ears go up.
I love his ears. Oh.
Oh,
So that one's Buddy. Is that
Is
Buddy?
that Buddy?
This is Benji. No, this is
That's
Benji.
Benji.
Wait,
This
which
is
one's
Benji.
which one's kind of a twat?
That's Buddy. He's away.
That's Buddy. Okay.
Yes. Buddy will come up here. If Benji's here, Buddy will stand there as if to say, pick me up, and you do that and you walk away. So he's a bit of a twat. Yep.
Like psych.
This one is cute, crazy and stupid.
Oh,
Ain't you?
don't listen
He's
to him,
like
Ben.
my faces. He's got a bad taste in his mouth and he's trying to get rid of it. Ain't you, Sid? Ain't you? High five. Give me a high
I
five.
bet I can read his mind. I want
There you
another
go.
treat, Dad.
No, he's actually hitting me because look, high five. High five. Come on. High five.
I'm with Bob, I won't count that high.
Is that what it is? What about this? What's this? What's this here for then? Right, sit down. Give me some peace and quiet. Right, anybody else got anything pick of the week?
Hello. What'd you say?
My first Doctor Series 2 box set arrived.
Oh,
Yay.
Have not watched it yet because the brand spanking new Blu-ray player that plays non-North American discs arrived.
yay!
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, so
That is ideal.
I tested
That's
it.
brilliant.
It works, and I'm ecstatic.
Well, that's the main thing. But it's so is that your Christmas treat? You go sit and watch it over Christmas period.
My law firm gave us Christmas bonuses, and I spent quite a bit of money on my TV and my Blu-ray player. The rest
Nice.
Very nice.
in the morning.
Yep.
I remember those days well.
Well, I'm looking forward to January. That's when I get my Christmas bonus, or I get my yearly bonus.
Very
And
nice.
I've got a couple of things I'm aiming
Bonuses are
to get.
cool.
I need to chase up Big Chief to see if they've actually posted my Ash v Evil Dead, because I've got my Laurel and Hardy
Oh,
still
that's
in
right. Yeah.
panel. That's been nearly a year. So it has. February, I ordered it last year, and it's still not for shipping. I know. So sitting here waiting, it'll probably, by the time it arrives, I'll probably be kicked it, and my wife will go, charity shop.
Yeah,
You'll
no
hear.
lie.
Hey, here, come up, come on, you can get a treat.
So
Come on, you
my
can get a treat.
mother has another tiny little dog, like the one that's in this picture. Then it's in my avatar, and she's
Snoopy.
Yes, right. She's an alpha. She's an alpha, and you have to keep reminding her that, honey, you're so tiny. You can't possibly be an alpha because I can pick you up and make you do things you don't want to do.
What is it? George Carlin used to say about little dogs. He said, "Do you ever feel a little dog's leg? It's like beef jerky in there, man."
Speaking of elk turkey, I was driving up to visit my friend in Dunedin, Florida, home of the greatest governor in the United States.
I have heard this.
Yes.
Very true. I have the other end of that.
Yeah, I know. I'm so sorry. Well, there's a little bit of room left here in Florida if you're interested. But anyway,
we'd love to come.
I was heading north on the interstate, and they have these flashing signs telling you if there's congestion ahead or whatever. Well, this one said, "Drive safely and be a careful elf."
Okay.
Because if you don't drive carefully,
You become
elf jerky.
I was thinking of you all when I saw
a bragging steak.
Oh, that's great.
Is that the box set, Killer? I think I saw the rabbi.
Oh,
is that the one? Yeah.
Very nice.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
I saw the rabbi doing an opening on it. And yeah, amazing.
I'll wait until standard edition comes out.
Season 2.
The first story in Tom Baker's last season, so I can't get back to the first Doctor until I've finished the entirety of
Yeah. But it's
Bummer.
Tom. It's still Tom.
It is Tom, and it's wonderful. But I did also buy on Audible. Oh God, what? I just remembered it. Oh, the novelization of the Eighth Doctor
The novelization of, and you cut out a little bit.
movie.
Oh, the Paul McGann movie.
Yeah.
Cool.
Very good.
I look forward to hearing that. It's the beauty of a half an hour, 45-minute commute.
Nice.
I'm just looking for my list. Hold on, where the hell is it? I'm looking for my list of my Doctor Who DVD. I've still got a couple I've still to get. So I have. I'm actually just, not that I catalogue everything.
Did you guys cover the new Doctor Who costume?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that.
Well, I haven't
Yes.
seen the
I'm
TARDIS. I
happy.
haven't seen the costume.
Me happy.
It's
So season 2, the only thing it's missing from the season 2 is the Crusades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that is an impressive spreadsheet.
That really is.
Yeah, basically, you can see there is very few gaps, and I do build them up. And the thing is, I could go out and buy them, but I like the hunt, so I do. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
DVDs for all of these.
yes,
Wow.
so I
I'm
have.
really impressed.
Yeah,
That is a
so-
fantastic spreadsheet.
Yeah, and I've
my
got them,
inner
I've got them
Excel
all
nerd
split
is
up,
coming up.
categorized year, season, and different icons and logos. And even there's the miscellaneous stuff: Demons Rising, Sarah Jane Adventures, 30 Years of Time Lords, Lost Tales, Mindscape Saga, K9 and Company.
So you haven't got Evil of the Daleks yet? Because it's marked in yellow.
Yeah, that'll be right. Anything in yellow, I'm still looking at getting. They basically they're all on my list, but the problem is I don't like going out and paying full price. So I always go hunt. So sometimes on eBay I'll have a quick look, and if I see somebody selling their collection, I'll pick up ones here and there. I've got them all on digital, so I have. So that was the first thing I did. If I didn't have them, I bought them. So the ones I didn't have in digital were probably the first in my collection. But there's also a lot of the yellow ones I've got on video.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, so I have got a load of video tapes.
The Deadly Assassin, that's one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah.
I love that one.
I still say my favourite is Patrick Troughton's one. The War Games.
I can't wait Troughton comes out on Blu-ray.
That's a long story, isn't it? It's one of the second longest story of all, I think, isn't it?
I think it's got six episodes.
10.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Is it? Wow.
Because I think it's second only to was it Chase? No.
No,
the Master Plan.
The Master Plan sounds right.
Yeah, the Master Plan. That's yeah.
The Chase basically they skipped a couple of bits and pieces because it was repeated scenes. They used the same scenes in the Chase with the Daleks, especially.
KPB.
So,
but you're not sure to your question, Kel. Yeah, I did. I think I posted on I saw on someone's Discord. It might have been one of ours. Yeah, one thing. My first thing I noticed, both his shirt and his trousers actually fit. They've actually spent enough money to get.
I didn't like the orange. I didn't like the orange.
No, it did look. No, it looked. But at least it wasn't.
I like it.
His chest off. Yeah,
I like it. I don't know. It works.
Yeah,
it works for him.
I just thought the orange just was too much of a distraction.
Carry it off.
When I first looked at it, I thought he was just coming off the catwalk.
The thing is, as well, but I didn't like Matt Smith's outfit at all, and I didn't like David Tennant's because there weren't anything special. There was just a suit and a jacket.
Yeah,
and you know what I mean. Whereas his is at least unusual with the orange. It's a bit unusual, but it's a wee bit. It's not my type of unusual. Peter Capaldi's, yes. Even
I love
Colin Baker's, which is awful, is distinctive. Christopher Eccleston. Buy a leather jacket, and it's you. You're done as the Doctor.
I put it in the.
There was nothing special about it. You could actually say, "Oh, you dressed as a Doctor." No, actually, this is how I dress normally.
This is just how I dress.
Well, at least
it wasn't,
Yeah, Peter, I put it in the private chat. So if you want to bring it up,
I was going to say, at least he's not wearing like Colin Baker's style outfit.
Oh heavens!
No, this is
worst. To the eyeballs.
Yeah.
This was fun.
This is very dapper. I like it. I feel good about it. And there's no rainbows in sight.
Nope.
I think it's one thing I think that none of the new series have had is all the quote costume unquotes have been reasonably straightforward. I mean, Matt Smith literally took his off the peg at the hospital.
Which is what on Perch we did.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, but the thing is, I think the new Doctors, there's been nothing special about any of their outfits. Peter Capaldi's that jacket with the red turned up, I thought, was a bit very Doctorish. This one, even though I don't like it, it is Doctorish because it's different. It's not something you would see anybody walking down the street in.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas the other ones, I think anybody could have worn, so it didn't actually stand out. If you'll even look at William Hartnell's, even at the time, that stood out for the normal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Patrick Troughton, his stood out. They all started standing out.
Yeah.
From early on.
Do you know what I'd love to see with Shudi's outfit is a pocket watch going back to the original. No, well, you remember when they brought out, I think it was during Tennant's run, where, you know, his sort
of blood.
Yes, yeah. I'd love to see that make a return, you know, that watch. Because that would look so cool with his outfit.
Yeah.
I think I have one of those.
I mean, let's be honest. I mean,
you can borrow mine.
Yeah, there you go. Nice.
A certain
that would
fake,
just look epic.
A certain fake Doctor even nicked her costume from bloody Mork from Ork.
That's right.
I've got a Star Trek pocket watch. I know I have one of those out here somewhere. I found my Star Trek one. That's like hanging over there.
Cool.
Why do I have a Star Trek pocket watch? That's the question.
Why do you have a pocket watch? I don't even. I actually clipped it so it wouldn't actually the time not going, and basically it's never been running.
Why would they need watches, pocket watches, in the 22nd, 23rd century?
Yes,
I just love them. I love timepieces, and I love the sort of the mechanical wonder that they are, you know, knowing that is running and all of the tiny pieces inside of a working watch, you know, I've always fascinated me, and that's why I just always love pocket watches.
Nice. Yeah, I think pocket watches just look fun.
Can you actually use them to hypnotize and sing lullabies to beasts on Peladon as well?
Yes, you can.
Yeah. See, I like it and dislike it. His outfit.
Yeah, well, I think we're all going to have
because it's distinctive enough. It actually is very Doctor Who-ish. I dislike it because I dislike the colour. It's as simple as that.
Yeah,
it does stand out.
I just dislike the orange. I know it stands out. That's why I like it for that, because it's not something you would see somebody else walking down the street on, like with Tenants. It's basically you could see anybody, especially in a student bar, probably dressed like that. And then Matt Smith. Yeah, you can see anybody might be a bit older than he is, but it was nothing
once
special.
He did his seventh season, I think it was the seventh season, his final season, he had that purple suit. He switched over, kind of leveled up as far as his suit. I thought that
was a bit more. It looked a bit more beige.
Yep.
Because it looked a bit more classic. Whereas I would think he was going down that route, but because it was a tweed, it was not old fashioned enough. It was still there were still people out there wearing tweed. In Christopher Eccleston's, you see that everywhere. There used to be a load of people used to wear those. I had one of those jackets, Christ.
I have one of those jackets. It's in the closet because I don't get rid of anything ever.
Yeah, well, basically I got rid of it because I had to, because somebody accidentally sprayed me with paint.
Oh,
they were actually
accidentally sprayed you with paint?
Yes, they were spraying their face, and as they sprayed their face, they were talking, and they forgot they hadn't released the button.
Oh, that's better than the version I was playing in my head to be like, "Hi, are you that PJ? Maybe."
Exterminator!
That's a really nice jacket you've got, Spray.
It'd be a shame if something happened to it.
But basically, I got sprayed by accident. It happened twice. Once to my motorbike and once to myself.
Ooh.
And it was actually the same house, but one of them was my brother and the other one was my sister-in-law. They had a habit of doing thing work, and they would switch things off in turn. but sometimes as they switch them off and turning, the thing's still pumping at the because they just assume they've let the trigger go.
Oh, goodness gracious.
So yes, my bike got sprayed with oak dye. So it was one of my old bikes, so it was my Harley.
Yikes.
And that gets sprayed with oak dye, and the other one, my jacket, got sprayed with brown paint.
Yikes.
Bummer. But then again, it was a leather jacket and I didn't look cool in it anyway. So I was just actually, my old age was kicking in and kicking out my younger self going, bug off, you're too old. So we'll need to be finishing up shortly. So what time is it?
Glad I made it.
Yes, you made it just in time to say,
It's just time for y'all to hang up the phone.
There's a cat on screen.
There's a cat on screen as well.
Look, cat, look, yeah.
I did listen a bit in the car when I wasn't listening to my audiobook about the Black Death.
See, I'm listening my audiobook. What's the most one? I got the Graham Hancock audiobook. I finished my Bobaverse ones and I'm on to a new one, and it's Graham Hancock. I can't even remember the name of it, but the black one about the Black Death sounds cheery.
There's a Great Courses Plus series on the Black Death as well, which is very good. With just one of Dorsey Armstrong's ones, which always means they're going to be good.
On what?
On the Black Death.
Oh, okay. Because I've read a couple of books about it, and this one is called The Great Mortality.
Yeah, it's what they called it, I think, because the Black Death isn't is what its modern name.
Wasn't there a movie? Wasn't there a movie about the Black Death?
There was.
Oh, that's right. It was called The Invention of Lying.
Well,
anybody seen that movie? The Invention of Lying, Ricky Gervais?
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen that.
I would watch it.
There was a movie. There was a movie called The Black Death. It starred Sean Bean, and you won't. I was going to say you won't be surprised to find that he died before the end of the film. That's not a spoiler. That's not a spoiler. It's Sean Bean.
Sean Bean movie.
It's Sean Bean. It's a fact.
It'll be a spoiler if
it's like
Ricky Gervais. It's in a world where people don't lie.
All right.
So there's no such things as TV programs. It's people sitting reading books, and it's all factual books. So there's no fantasy because people don't lie. So they don't know. So the most popular times are times where things happened in history. Somebody sits and reads them. So you got John Gielgud sitting there reading about the Declaration of Independence and stuff like that. Well, the most unpopular one is the Black Death. The what century was it? The 1500s.
Colin, you were there.
About
the 1400s, and basically Ricky Gervais's character has got the most unpopular century to write about. So when he learns how to lie, he starts inventing things about spaceships with dinosaurs and stuff.
Oh, no.
So it becomes the most popular century. And it's basically the invention of lying. It's actually, considering the premise of it, it's actually really enjoyable.
So you're saying it's about the aliens from Galaxy Quest then? The good guys from Galaxy Quest then? Because they can't lie.
Oh, true.
Yes, but it's just such a weird premise in a world where nobody can lie.
It sounds interesting. It does sound very interesting.
Another good Ricky Gervais one is it's not. Oh God, what's it called? It just disappeared. He's Ghost Town. Basically, he's a dentist who's very antisocial. What do you mean? I'll keep going, right? He's a dentist who's very antisocial.
Is that your cat?
Can you hear him?
I can hear it purring.
That's Roscoe. That's Roscoe P. Cat Brain.
The Ghost Town is about a dentist, very antisocial, doesn't like people talking to him or anything, goes in for a minor operation, but he dies on the table, but they don't tell him. So suddenly all these people, like he walks past someone and he asks her to move, and she stares at him and then starts following him home. It's all these ghosts that nobody could see, who have got unfinished things, have now realised he can see them, so he's trying to they all try to get him to pay attention. And one recently departed ghost tries to get him to help him. Is it Tia Leone's in it as well? That is a good one. Ghost Town is another good one. Ricky Gervais, I didn't like Extras. I just don't know if it was the humour, but for some reason, The Invention of Lying and Ghost Town are two that I enjoy regularly. I watch them every 6 months. So definitely I would give them a chance if you've not seen them before.
I have not.
Right, Ben, you want to say cheerio to everybody? Come on. Say your cheerios. Go. Bye.
Oh.
Wait, you're meant to be saying
pet
cheerio.
stream.
Okay.
Look at the state of him. What a charmer.
I'll not need a shower in the morning. If I do that, all the water will fly
What a
off.
charmer.
All the water will fly off me, I'm telling you. I'm going to get you a reindeer and me sellotape it. I've got staples somewhere. Where's the stapler? I've got a stapler. He's just looking at me as if to say, huh? But anything coming up this week?
Not particularly.
To advertise,
Monday.
push out?
What's that?
To advertise. Push out.
Of course. So Monday on Creative Blue Collar Guys channel, we're going to be doing our Christmas special of Mixtape Mondays. And like I said, I don't think we're going to be doing a show on my channel this week because of the Christmas.
Yes.
And then, but the following week, the 29th of December, I think it is. So we're looking down the road a little bit. We are going to be doing Star Trek 4. I think we're going to try to close out our Star Trek series on that. And because I didn't really care for 5, and we're doing 6 on a friend of mine's channel. So I think we're going to close out with 4. But anyway, that's what I got.
Place to end. Good place to start.
Excellent. Well, Wednesday, we've got the Muppet Christmas Carol.
I love that one too.
Yay.
So that's the one. Next Saturday's Christmas Eve. So I'm still not entirely sure if it's a good idea to actually do a Let's Talk Geeky, because if we do, it'll need to be very quick. So because who's going to actually have time Christmas Eve? Who's not going, wait a minute, I forgot to wrap that present. Where do we buy one at 10 to 12?
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
So, but it's the things with wrapping and last minute.
Yeah,
things,
Christmas Eve can be a little bit iffy.
And drinking and drinking iron brew. I don't have issues with.
I'm sorry, but you've all failed the observation test.
What? Because you've still got your elf from Castle and Crusades.
No one's noticed or commented.
I noticed it.
I wondered what it was. Yeah, I saw that earlier.
That's Shadow Wolf.
Check out Tabletop Junkies channel for the Legends of Paramore game we started playing. That's my character from that.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, that's Shadow Wolf.
I mean, it's a quiver and a bow.
So I was playing a dwarf called Rubble.
It's
not
actually
Barney Rubble. Rubble, as in his father is called Shale, his brother's called Schist.
Oh, you're doing a disc. He's a Discworld troll.
He's
naming
schist,
system.
yes, schist, gravel, and pebble, and he's Rubble. So basically, that's our characters from Castles and Crusades.
Yeah.
And it's every 2 weeks, started yesterday. So next one is the Friday between Christmas and New Year at 11 p.m. UK time. The other 2 times that I can't remember because there's too many in the States to actually work out what ones they are.
Well, everything.
Roman and I are 3 hours apart, so
Just do it from GMT. It's easy. That's actually. I got that. There's a company called Hero Forge. And oddly enough, I found out about this because one of the channels I watch is Duncan Rhodes Painting Academy, and he actually used to be a painter for Games Workshop. He used to work for Games Workshop, but I watch a lot of his videos, and one of them was he and a friend of his were doing some gaming, and they'd actually come across this company, Gameforge, who actually let you design your own character, and they will then 3D print it for you. And I use this, that you don't have to, you only pay if you actually buy it for printing. So I use Hero Forge to all their functions to design design that character, and then I just screenshot it, which it lets you do. That's great. So
yeah, but they do actually, even though you can purchase your figure, if you were actually playing with the figure online, they're very strict with their copyrights that you can't. So you buy a figure and then you're not allowed to actually tell people you bought a figure and show them it being used to play.
Which is slightly odd because you thought to be an advert for them.
If I get copyrighted, it's all Colin's fault. Yeah. So you should join us for Castles and Crusades watch along. See the two of us getting the mickey taken out of us by each other.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to check that out. That just sounds great fun.
Oh, PJ, check the Tunnels and the Tabletop Junkie Discord.
I will do.
When you got in a minute, because I've written up Friday.
Excellent. That's ideal. So we're going to finish there. So join us again on Wednesday, 8 o'clock to watch, after watching, and we're going to talk about Muppets Christmas Carol. Michael Caine trying not to laugh his whole way through a movie.
What was that?
Michael Caine, you can imagine, you can see it in his face. He's obviously enjoying himself. How many times has he actually been biting his lip going, don't laugh, don't laugh?
That must have been so much fun to do.
I'm not sure I've ever seen that, but I'm really hoping someone in this is Muppets, thousands of them.
So Muppet Christmas Carol Wednesday. Next Saturday, we're probably not going to be on, so we might actually just put a wee message up. So I'll maybe speak to the guys during the week, just maybe to put a wee something together so we can put a wee Christmas message. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I can do it with a Scottish accent. Hold on. La 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 la. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining us tonight. I'm obviously just one of those mids. Who's been putting Jack Daniels in my iron brew?
We need to put an iron brew in your Jack Daniels.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I'm not drunk. I've got some blood in my alcohol stream. I mean, alcohol in my bloodstream. Just get down. Right, sorry, Benji. Benji's looking at me as if to say, you're calling me stupid.
Benji's cute.
But he knows it. He's crazy, but he knows he's cute, don't you?
He does.
If you're cute, go on. What did you fall off for? He jumped down, meant to actually jump in the poofy, and he missed it and right into the floor. he missed his seat. Yay! Anyway, boys and girls, lads and lasses, thank you very much for joining us. So, remember, I'm not old. Some of them in here are as just as me. Some of them aren't. But then, obviously, out with the age, we've got 2 young ladies and 4 old guys.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
And then, obviously, we've got Roman. Because he's Roman and the Roman.
Anywhere.
So we're going to finish there. Thank you again, one and all, and I'll catch you later. Remember, I'm not old. I'm classic. PJ maybe and the gang.
Hi, folks. Happy Christmas.